A PR shitstorm is taking place in who will be the main blockchain for Web3. Not only have Jack Dorsey and Snoop Dogg announced that they are making their own blockchains for Web3, but a mysterious website called Cryptoleaks is accusing Solana's and FTX Exchange's founder Sam Bankman-Fried of being involved in taking down Internet Computer, considered by some as one of the most technologically viable solutions for Web3. Are such allegations true? The Cryptoleaks report is anonymous and published in a freshly set up website, as if it would want to open up the cold case of ICP's token crash in 2021. And there is another report, published in 2021, that blamed the Internet Computer founders themselves for causing the ICP crash with a classic pump and dump scheme. So, where is the truth? It's difficult to tell who's the victim and who's the perpetrator here yet. But here's a summary of the top 3 narratives from these reposts to help you quickly get on the narratives of all sides. So, narrative 1. Arkham's Intelligence report states that it's the ICP token's founders to blame. What were their main arguments? Firstly, there were no updates after the project's launch, which is not entirely true, because some updates did happen. You could see it on their website. Then, the analyst claims that ICP tokenomics were intentionally made complex and difficult to understand, so that investors would buy in for the project's idea and skip analyzing the tokenomics, which is one of the key parts in choosing a good crypto project. They base their argument on the fact that the ICP token experienced a sudden rise and a fall just a few days after the launch. Shocking to many believers, it stirred the idea of ICP being a classic rug pull by the founders. Arkham's report also highlighted how early investors were initially barred from accessing their tokens when the tokens started to crash. Yikes! Moreover, how tokens, presumably owned by the founders and the insiders of the project, were moved to the exchanges amidst the crash, suggesting a kind of exit scam. To this, the project's founders basically replied that moving tokens to exchanges' custody did not mean that they were sold. But we can't tell if that's true for sure. Last but not least, Arkham's report joined Coin Bureau in instilling doubt about the ability of Internet Computer and Dfinity Foundation to fulfill their mission. That is, to be able to actually decentralize web services. To give a bit of context on the project, Internet Computer was created to free users from reliance on the big tech cloud services of Amazon, Google, or Apple. But Coin Bureau and analysts agreed that the key system called NSS was a single point of failure as basically a Dfinity-owned data center. Moreover, lots of the code of ICP is patented and closed-sourced. But in Dfinity's defense, it is a trade secret to limit forking and competition. That is why I cannot fully address the concerns voiced. But now let's get to the most spicy part of Arkham's claims. If, for just a second, we try to critically evaluate who and how these allegations were published, we could not ignore the fact that this was the only single report produced by Arkham Intelligence ever, as seen from their website and Twitter posts. The fact that even the New York Times published an article about it gave it huge credibility. But we will explore that more in narrative number 2 on why this could have been a mistake, even by a highly credible source like the New York Times. Arkham even created a professional-looking video on it, and the video was released on the same day as the New York Times article, which could impose that it was a coordinated campaign. Additionally, we could not skip the fact that Arkham's report used such rather emotional language in a technical report like this. See here. Was this report an analytics company created to destabilize a strong competitor? The founder of the firm claims he was not hired nor compensated for doing this report, and the majority of the users on the Reddit post advertising the report claimed that it had a lot of great points. And yet, we know that whenever there's money at stake, we cannot be sure whether these were actually real users, and not a hired Reddit bot army to support the fake report. And now we want to draw your attention to the total other side of the coin. We can totally see why Internet Computer could face a lot of market friction with a project like theirs. Just think about it. Not only is crypto and the Web3 space super competitive and unregulated that anyone could try to bring down someone else, but Dfinity had a truly grand vision and an infrastructure developed since 2015 by a credible team of 200, which potentially could eliminate cloud monopolies. So it could be that Number 2. It was Solana's founder, Sam Bankman-Fried, who tried to take down the internet computer. How come? So the key arguments of Cryptoleaks' report are these. Firstly, the writers identified that Arkham Intelligence could have been a company specifically set up to blame everything on the founders and shift the focus from the true criminals. Why? It's a classic technique. If you do a crime in crypto, move the attention of the masses sideways and instill some bits of truth to make them believe, like a familiar narrative of rug pulling and runaways with spectacular profits. But the Cryptoleaks specify something very important. 4 days before the ICP's genesis and release on the FTX crypto exchange owned by Sam Bankman-Fried, a purely synthetic financial version of the ICP token was launched. It was called ICP Perp. And although it didn't contain real ICP, its price affected the price of real ICP. So Sam, with his encompassing influence, a hedge fund, and an exchange, basically had free hand to impact the price of a new competitive project. This orchestrated price crash unlocked the general FUD of the market. Then the fake report got published, the New York Times article amplified it in the media, and Sam's lawyers could leverage false accusations to simply destroy Internet Computer. But let us remind you, all of this is a rough summary based on the anonymous Cryptoleaks report. If you read it fully, you can find more past claims about how ICP was harmed by its competitors. And yet, we want to draw your attention to the fact that ICP was sort of endorsed by Ethereum's founder Vitalik Buterin himself when he called ICP a sister protocol.
Definitely does really contribute to the leading edge of the space, and that's something that I really respect. Although I think Dominic and I, we don't want to use the word competitor. We use the possibly euphemism, possibly an aspirational term, sister network.
So how can it be that a co-founder of the second most popular blockchain in the world defended a project that became widely considered a scam? This moves us to narrative 3, and it's all based on the Cryptoleaks report, because we found this narrative very compelling. There are many other parties that could have harmed ICP because they were invested heavily in Solana, whose key selling point was always how perfect of a blockchain it was for Web3. It could have been jump trading, multi-coin capital, or even Near Protocol and Avalanche blockchains backed by large crypto funds positions, which could also be threatened by ICP. So could they be the ones that caused the project to crash? We can't give you an answer, but we hope this was an educating top 3 narrative on this mysterious case. You may ask, why do we talk about Internet Computer now? Well, in our humble opinion, it could be that Internet Computer is using the bear market to attract new long-term investors, so it released this alarming Cryptoleaks report now. We're just guessing, but it's up to you to decide in the comments below. Don't forget to watch more Crypto Owl to get critical on crypto.